Hey guys, Peter Chen here, recording another 2550 live play video. So we have ace-7 cutoff versus hijack, and a lot of options with this hand. I'm 3-betting it this time, and we face a 4-bet, and we're just gonna have to fold. Putting in a raise, obviously. And on this flop, we're going to be doing some checking and some betting. This hand is pretty good to check, but I think I'm still betting it some of the time. But I'm going to check. After he checks twice, I think I can go for value. I'll get called by any pair and a bunch of draws. On the really blank river, I think I mostly want to be betting big, so I can't bet very big with this hand, and I don't think I have too big of a small betting range. And it's going to be pretty close to value bet, so just going to check back. Hopefully that's not a big mistake. So we get ace-4 offsuit on the button. Gonna put in a raise. We get called by the big blind. On this flop, I'm going to be betting a lot. So I think I'm just going to go for a range bet. Pretty good turn for me, picking up a straight draw. I think I could bet, I could check. I think this is one of the hands I can bet for a big size too, since I'll mostly be wanting high flushes and high flush blockers slash high flush draws. Oh, we have ace-8 offsuit in the button. And take down the blinds. Queen-jack offsuit in the cutoff. Going to be raising. And take down the blinds again. Ace-7 suited from hijack. And take down the blinds again. And now we have queens in the big blind. So we face a button open, and we're going to be 3-betting this. And we take it, and next hand we have ace-8 offsuit from the small blind. against the open, I'm going to fold. We have ace four suited in the cutoff. Yurosov is sitting out. Would be opening this from any position. We're heads up with the big blind, and this is a flop I'm going to be checking quite a bit on. So I could bet this hand, I could check it. I'll be betting this time. And we turn top pair. I think we're mostly going to be betting small, and then any ace is going to be a good bet. I think I could check the lower one some of the time as well. But putting in a half pot bet. And now I think my hand's not quite strong enough to go for value. So I could get called by a jack or a queen sometimes, but mostly just running into better hands if I do get called, I think. So cutoff opens, we have 5-4 suited in the big blind. We could 3-bet this some of the time, mostly calling. Going to call this time. So we flop a 5. And we face a bet for quarter pot. A little more than quarter pot. And I don't think we're raising this ever, just calling. We pick up a gut shot now. But also with the 3 hearts, I think this is kind of close. I think I have a lot of heart hands, but still have to call this. And we get a check on the river. Our opponent had ace 7. We have ace 2 suited in the cutoff. Going to be raising. We get 3-bet by the small blind. And I'm going to flop this. Could fold, could 4-bet. Against a check, going to be doing a lot of checking back with this hand, I think. And again, I don't think I have to turn my hand into a bluff. Betting seems kind of good to get a little bit of protection, but I have so many just high card hands that want to bet that I don't want to go for this strong of a hand when I have pretty good showdown value. There's going to be a lot of ace high hands uh, from the small blind trying to show down, and I beat all of those. But unfortunately, run into kings. Button opens, I have ace 7 offsuit in the big blind. I'm going to be defending this. We don't flop very well, but luckily we get a check back and hit top pair. I want to be betting pretty big on this turn, so ace 7 isn't strong enough. Now my kicker doesn't play, but I think it's going to be pretty rare for Nacho to have a better ace. Thinking about if I should go bigger for value, but I don't think I want to do that too often. Mostly want to be getting called by a jack or a 10. And we get called by queen 10. Very reasonably played by Nacho there. And now we have ace 6 suited in the small blind, button opens. I'm going to be 3-betting this. We get called, flop an open ender. This is a flop I want to be betting big on. Maybe I can bet a little smaller. This is also a reasonable hand to check. Oh, all options are good. Went for the check this time. And we face a quarter pot bet. I don't want to be raising this too often, I think. I want to be raising hands that don't have the ace high. I can call this and maybe win at showdown sometimes if I run into king high that checks back. And it goes check, check. I'm not sure if I want to be betting an ace here. Maybe at a very low frequency. I can turn this into a bluff. I can still have 10-9 hands around there with the straight draw or backdoor straight draw. And our opponent had queen 9. We have king 8 suited from the hijack, going to go for an open. Big blind calls us. On this flop, I think we want to do a lot of checking, and king high is a good hand to check. So I'm going to go ahead and check. We turn a pair of kings, and I think if we're check 2, my hand's not strong enough to go for value. Not strong enough to go for 2 streets of value, but maybe for 1 street. So I have to decide if this is the turn or the river. And I think I get called by more trashy hands on the turn. There's lots of queen x, jack x that we'll call. And the last hand we saw that Datsukendik checked back a queen high on the river. So maybe I'm not going to get bluffed as much as some players would bluff me. So it makes more sense to go for the bet and get called by those hands when I might be facing a check on the river. And now I'm going to check back and hopefully show down a winner. Unfortunately, up against ace 3. So we have ace 5 offsuit from the big blind against the cutoff open. We flopped a lot of backdoor draws here. We have multiple backdoor straight draws. We have ace high. I think I can go for a call. It's going to be pretty close. And now we're definitely going to be betting this. I think it makes sense to go big when I can have the threes, I can have the straights. I'm not blocking any folds. 8 suited from the hijack, raising it. And we're heads up against the big blind, flop trips. And this is a flop where we're going to be wanting to bet a lot, and obviously this hand really wants to bet. I think I'm going to be betting 100% of the time with ace 8. And we get raised. So do I want to 3-bet this or do I want to call? I think this is probably the best hand to 3-bet with. So I'm going to go for the 3-bet. So we get a call. Not the greatest turn for us. Big blind definitely has a lot of 10-9. But I think we still need to go for value against a lower 8. Hopefully we don't run into 10-9 or 8-6 or something like that. I think we still get called by every 8, so definitely still good enough to go for value. Now we have Queen Jack offsuit in the big blind, button opens. I'm going to defend this. Flop middle pair. And face a quarter pot bet. Always going to be calling this. I don't think I ever want to raise a jack. And we face a big bet on the turn. I still think this is just a pure call. Never folding, never raising. Unfortunate river for us. Nacho Rivers top pair. Ace 10 offsuit in the small blind. Going to be opening this. And on the swap, I'm going to be doing a lot of checking. And I'll be checking this again on the turn. Now we hit a straight on the river. I don't think it makes sense to go big with an ace, maybe with a 6. So just betting half pot. And now we have ace 3 suited. Going to be raising the button. And we get 3-bet by the big blind. I think I could 4-bet a small amount of the time, but mostly calling. We flop a flush draw. And we're facing a 3rd pot bet. Just going to be calling. This isn't the greatest turn for me when big blind can have ace king. So I don't want to be doing too much betting, but I do think I have to bluff sometimes. I obviously still have good hands, but I'm just going to check this one back. And now on the river we have the nuts. We face a bet. I don't know if I ever just min raise this, but just going to put the money in, most likely chopping, but we get a fold. We have pocket 3s in the small blind. We're going to be raising this. Also reasonable to play a limping strategy, especially at higher stakes with the really low rake. But I'm used to playing raises. I think I want to go into the lines that I'll be playing better at, so I'm still doing raise only. I bet small on the flop, and now we hit a set. I could be betting big now. Both betting big and betting small make sense. And I bet half pot and got a fold. Maybe I would have bet big if I had more of a time bank and could think about it more. Blind versus blind, I have ace 10 offsuit in the big blind. Could go for a raise, could call. I think calling makes a little more sense against the short stack. And we flop top pair with a flush draw. If you've ever wondered how to flop a pair every single hand, just make a YouTube video. When you're making YouTube videos, you always run good. That's how Jarrett Mann does it. That's how Charlie Carroll does it. It's the secret to poker. If you want to run good, make a video. So we call a flop bet, and we get check 2 on the turn. I think we mostly want to be betting this. Going to go for half pot. And we get a fold.